How's it going? I'm having a little bit of coffee. Once I suck down this caffeine, we'll be good to go. We're gonna be coloring Tom Fowler's 80s X-Men piece. So I didn't stream all last week. It's been a while. I'm sorry for that. I'm having like crazy situations with my dog. And then beyond that, I've just been working my tail off with like the regular work stuff. Yeah, we're on a train now. And the reason we're on a train, ladies and gentlemen, is because we're back in the regular schedule. Hopefully, fingers crossed. It's going to be a train of streams. Just one car after the next. Maybe. I don't... This is the thing, is like, life is chaos right now. Between my dog being sick, which is awful, and he's still sick, and then just like life being like, hey, we don't have pages, now we have pages. It's just crazy. We can cut the music, actually. We can cut the music, turn up a little bit, turn down the train. Let's turn down the train a little bit. There we go. All right. So yeah, it's a little crazy right now. Yeah. So the whole dog thing is kind of like putting me off my game a little bit, which means that like pages are taking longer. You know, like I'm like letting things fall through the cracks that I normally don't. Yeah, we're set up on the train. which sucks. Like, so I've started like writing myself notes to kind of keep myself focused, because I just have to right now. And because of all of that, like the thing that gets kind of pushed by the wayside has been the sketchbook challenge. I've only done 9 of 18. He's not okay. The dog is not okay. I don't want to get into it because I don't want to get like emotional, but he's nearing the end of his life. He's 13. He's got a neurology appointment on Monday, and I think that what's going to happen is that they're going to give us the news that, like, you know, we're dreading, and that's what's going to happen with him. So yeah, it's a little bit of a weird time in my house, and he's sick all the time, so he needs like constant focus. So yeah, it's a little nuts. At any rate, Kid Carson 3 got turned in the interim of like the streams. Nightwing 44 got turned in. Cave Carson 3 got turned in. Cave Carson 2 is out today. I don't know if you can see it because of the lights. Yeah, there we go. It like has this crazy cover that like you cut it out and you can make like a D8, which is like the same shape as the Laser Monk's crystals, which is awesome. This is all Oming. Like this is all his work. Yeah, Panda. It's sad. Yeah, he's been with me for 13 years, so it's tough. But I'm actually like, it's kind of mixed emotions because he's been sick for a while and I don't want him to suffer. And additionally, it's like, man, I've had a dog for like 13 years, and I don't know if you guys know this, but having a dog is like having a, you know, 2-year-old who needs like constant supervision, and like it makes it tough to do travel. Like my fiance wants to come to cons with me and like meet my coworkers, but she can't because she's stuck home with the dog. So, you know, it is what it is. I think that once he passes away, it's gonna be it's gonna be quiet in the studio for sure, but it's gonna be a while before we get another dog, I think. I say this now, but fucking mark my words. I'm gonna get like 2 weeks in, I'm gonna be like, I need a dog right now. I need a dog right now. Immediate dog. So anyway, that stuff aside, Cave Carson is out. Cave Carson, this is 2, right? Yeah, number 2 is out today. Also, if you are going to be in the Florida area, I'm going to be attending MegaCon. MegaCon is one of the cons that's like drivable for me. So I'm going to have like a bunch of stuff that I don't normally carry with me at cons. One of the things that I'm going to have is this giant Rick and Morty hardcover that you can't see. It turns invisible because it's green. I did not plan on this. This is a bad promotion for this product. It gets expensive boarding dogs, especially around holidays because everybody marks up their prices. But this Rick and Morty, it's like a giant hardcover book one. Oni Press sent me 3 of these, so I'm bringing 2 of them with me to MegaCon in Orlando. That's Memorial Day weekend, so if you're in the area, come by, pick one of these up. I'm selling them at cover price. What is it? $49.99 to the penny. To the penny. Exact change only. So yeah, that's what we got going on. We even though we've been on a little bit of a hiatus, I think the last stream was like 10 days ago, 12 days ago, somewhere in there. Even though we've been on a little bit of a hiatus, we've been active in the Discord. So if you want to get in on that, I'm always hanging out in the Discord every single day, no matter what. Every time I'm at the computer, the Nick train is making me sick and you need to get off. Please. Alright, we're gonna get off the train. We're gonna... Rico needs to get off the train. We'll make a stop. We'll stop in some Photoshop. Alright. Train is over. This is the Tom Fowler thing. So, since I have a handful of subscribers... I'm able to do things like when you guys subscribe to me, this is where the money goes. I was able to get this flatted. These are the flats, obviously. The flatter kind of new X-Men, kind of. By the way, this is Tom Fowler's art. It's so good. It's so good. Tom Fowler is so good. I think he's actually one of my favorite, like, underrated artists right now. I feel like for whatever reason, he's just not a household name, and he really, 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 really should be. Like, everything I see him do is so, so good. If you, his inks are fun to color. Yeah, man. Here to look upon Tom Fowler's inks in despair. Yeah. The dude is just so good. And he's too tall, and he's very talented, and he's very tall, and yeah, I can't say enough good things. I'm sucking down this caffeine as quickly as possible. So yeah, we're gonna try to get this thing colored. So thank you to subscribers for subscribing so that I could get more complex pieces flatted, so that we can do them on stream. All right, so let's set this thing up while I'm sipping on some coffee. What do we do to get something that is, like Tom has all these kind of like gritty tones in here? How are we going to manage this? Now, normally the line art that I do is kind of like black white only. Like, we could go image, we could go threshold and be like, we're done. But like, there's so much that gets lost between the threshold. Like, there's a lot of like neat detail, especially in like the dry brush, that I want to try to like hold on to. So we're going to do the same thing that we did with Declan's piece, only now you're going to be able to like actually see what's going on. I'm getting texts and emails. Oh, good Lord. We're gonna have to get rid of this phone. You know what? We're getting rid of it. We're done. Done with the phone. All right. So, how are we gonna do this? We're gonna do the same thing that we did with Declan's piece, only you're gonna get to see what's going on because we're not doing the Photoshop window. We're doing the screen capture. Phone broken. I hope not, but like, man, that phone is on its way out. The charger thing is like doesn't totally work anymore. It's like kind of wiggly. Yeah. So what we're gonna do? Let's check over to the flats. So here are the flatted pages. The flatter puts it in RGB, which is not something that we're gonna roll with. We're gonna do CMYK. And then, so we have the inks here. We're going to copy them. We're going to make a new layer. Now, normally I don't advocate new layers. If it was just black, white, like I was saying before, if it was threshold, I wouldn't do new layers. But today, we're gonna put in a mask Tom's inks. We're going to invert it. And we're going to fill the layer with black. So 60, 60, 40, 100. And you can see, hopefully that's showing up on screen. Yes, it is. It is. Success. You have all these snooty flatting opinions now that you started flatting more. RGB, who is this pleb? Yeah. All right. So we have 60, 60, 40, 100, and we're just going to fill. And so now we have kind of like gray areas that are picking up some of the color underneath while still being black, and we are preserving all of his good dry brush kind of stuff in here. The actual piece, I actually had to tinker with a little bit to try to get it to like a workable, like you can kind of see he's got like pencil renderings underneath here. It took a lot of slider bending and hoping and praying to get like this piece to where it was kind of like, oh, this is like a workable thing. I don't know if Tom ever thought that this was supposed to be for color. Like he probably like finished it, scanned it, and was like, I'm done, you know? So yeah. All right. So one of the things that's going on with this is that it's not exactly like the costumes. You can tell like the person who flatted it. And by the way, I used Yes Flat for the flats, which I'm medium on. They do cheap work, fast work, but I don't know if I necessarily like all the work that they do. But anyway, they really tried. They really tried to be like, all right, we're going to do, you know, regular X-Men colors. Get rid of those K-tones, first of all. But they didn't realize, like, these are, like, 80s X-Men costumes. So we are going to figure out what 80s costumes look like. So let's Google off stream, because who knows what Google's gonna pop up. So 80s X-Men Rogue, it looks like she's just like green on green. Like this is the costume. Light green on dark green. So that's easy to fix. So we can get into that. And I'm going to start talking about like what my plan is for this in a minute. I believe we're going to do light green for the gloves. So kind of go from there. We'll keep the lips normal. The lips normal for now. We'll get into it in a second. So I just want to make sure we're gonna do X-Men, Kitty Pryde. Although, wow, this costume's terrible. Why did they do this? I guess we're rolling with this. Okay. They just decided to take Kitty Pryde in a bold new direction, I guess. Sure. Yeah, right? Like what about this costume screams Kitty Pryde? Like nothing. I can see why they were like, "Oh, we know Wolverine. We know Mohawk Storm." Yeah. And then they were like, they got to Kitty Pryde and they were like, we're in the weeds. All right. One of the things that is actually really cool that I'm able to do on Windows that isn't really supported on the Mac is I have one of those fancy gaming mice that has a button to swap DPI levels for the laser on the mouse. So I can do like little kind of things on small details with the mouse and like turn down the sensitivity or turn it up as appropriate. Her name's Shadowcat. Yeah, I know, but her real name is Kitty Pryde. Her real name. Like she's a real human being. She's not a human being. She's a mutant. Damn. All right, no more coffee. Hot coffee on a hot day. All right. Real. Yeah, real. All right. Mutants are human too. Yeah. The dragon's Lockheed, right? That's his name? I can like, yeah, Lockheed. I got it. I know things about comics. Lockheed's just purple. So one of the reasons why yeah, he's purple. One of the reasons why you guys actually didn't get a stream last week was because I wanted to do a recolor of a New Mutants cover, and I was like working myself to death at the time, just like really tough hours, and I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm gonna stream this cover. I know it's complicated, but we're gonna flat it on stream, and we're gonna get it done. And I scanned it, and I should have scanned it well before this, but the print was like, whoa, hello Photoshop. Do we just quick mask? What do we do? The print quality on the cover, and I figured it's like, you know, it's 80s New Mutants stuff. You love the DPI switching mouse thing? Yeah, you end up using it a lot when you do fiddly stuff. Yeah, dude, it's so good. It's so good. It's one of the things that I didn't know that I wanted when I switched to PC. And now that I have it, I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. Especially with 3 monitors. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on around me to, like, be able to be like, okay, I need to go to the other monitor, click the button, and have it, like, zip. Like, is so good. Mohawk Storm's, like, usually all in black, but I might put her in a white shirt. But, you know, keep it kind of desaturated a little bit. Colossus. It's like, I think it's red and white. Yeah. Yeah, that's what he looks like. Red and white. Um what's the deep Oh yeah, so on PC you can get a gaming mouse that like will switch the DPI of the laser on the fly. Which lets you zip the mouse really quickly or do really fine details. Like right now it's like medium and I'm moving I wish you guys could see it, but like I'm moving the mouse like the same amount of distance, and then like I click it up and I'm moving the mouse the same amount of distance and it's going across the whole screen. And then now it's like the low setting and I'm moving the mouse the same amount of distance and it's only like a little bit. It's really interesting, and I wish that I had that in my quiver when I was like mostly coloring with the mouse. I don't really do that anymore, but it would have been real nice to have. We're gonna make Colossus a little darker red than normal. Good for 360 no scopes, yeah. when you're 360 no scoping Photoshop, that's what you need it for. I did a before I had realized like what that thing was. We're gonna do the bottom of his treads as white too. Just because I feel like this needs like a little visual thing. This isn't, I don't know if this is proper character canon or not. Don't come after me, please. Yeah, I actually every pro colorist can 360 no scope. So I actually didn't know what that button was for, and when I started up Sea of Thieves for the first time, I was like, oh, I'm gonna map this button to something on the you know, quick keys or whatever. Like I need my shovel. I'm gonna map this thing to this button. And then every time I clicked it, the sensitivity went crazy, and I was like, what is happening in this game? I don't understand what's happening. Like, this is unplayable. You're big on setting one of the Cintiq buttons as a display to toggle and jump around different screens? Huh. I hadn't heard of that. I think Nightcrawler is just Nightcrawler, right? He's just blue. He's just the same as he always is in the 80s. He's one of those guys who picked a look and stuck with it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, we should redo that cover. That is an awesome cover. Wow. So, let me actually, you know what? Let me show you the cover that I wanted to do. And I'll show you exactly what was wrong with it. We're going to actually tackle this cover in a little bit. After we do Tom Fowler stuff. But I'll show you the thing that like threw me for a loop. If I can find it. Here it is. So, the thing that threw me for a loop, and I kind of like tweaked it a little bit, was, so like from a distance, you're like, oh, this cover's sweet. Like, we're going to recolor this. We're going to pull the black lines out. It's not going to be no big deal. This thing is like ripe for a recolor because the original colorist was like, I don't know, creature green, creature orange, you know, like didn't really, I think the only shading that's in it is in her arm, and like we can make this look awesome, you know, like this is just, it's just totally ripe for a recolor. But after I scanned it, look at this, this sent me into like a panic, because like I was like, oh, we'll do this, and then I like set up to do it and I was like, I can't pull the line art out. And I was like, fuck, I gotta find something else. And then I picked out an old Thor from the 80s, and I picked up an old Secret Wars cover and from the original run. And I scanned them, and it had the same problem. Like, for whatever reason, like, the inks all have this, like, halo around it. And it looks terrible. It looks terrible. So like, here's what I did with this. I kind of like tried to pull the inks out as best I could, but like, yeah, they look bad. they have this like kind of like crusted out look. But I'm gonna hope that we're gonna hope and pray that like this is going to be fine when you like when you view it out. When you see it at a distance, it's going to be fine. And we are going to try to use like basically every trick in the book to you know, mess with this thing. And I have it set up so that we're not going to be coloring on the logo or anything. So like, yeah, it's going to be a good time once we get, that's what we're going to do next. Once we get to it. But for now, we need to do 80s brown Wolverine. I gotta remember exactly how brown he is. This is how brown he is. For anyone wondering at home, he is very, very brown. All right, let's figure this out. God, is he? I gotta search brown Wolverine. Is his mask? His mask is like black, I guess. This is a visual mess. I apologize. I guess we're doing a black mask on Wolverine. By the way, Wolverine's mask has never made sense to me. I don't understand how it's a thing at all. Visually, it just, I can't wrap my mind around it. Every time I attempt to draw Wolverine, it's a disaster. Oh my god. I should do that tomorrow for the sketchbook challenge. Drawing Wolverine. And then these are like darker brown gloves. Yeah, I could never, as a kid, it always frustrated me because, like, you know, Wolverine's awesome, and as a kid, as like you know, 13-year-old, I was like, all I want to do is draw Wolverine, and I couldn't. It's like the worst. Every time I drew him, it came out this like goofy, I don't know, like kind of Batman-esque, but then it like flares. I just like, I hit a point where I was just like, you know what? He's never going to wear his mask. And I feel like that's why he doesn't wear his mask in media a lot, is because people are like, look at this thing, and they're like, I don't know. Like, what are we supposed to do with this? That feeling, yeah. When it just turns into a mess, yeah. I think that this is like a puff of smoke from his cigar. That feeling when everything starts falling apart visually. Yeah, I'm familiar with that feeling. All right, so we gotta, I guess, kind of like wing it with the, and it's like darker like that, but then his head is not darker. They kind of got Wolverine right, and this is kind of like with Yes Flat. This is kind of like the thing, is that they're cheap, but they also require some finagling. Like, they're not great flats. All right, so from here, what are we doing? What's the plan? Let's think about it for a second. So I want this to be kind of like a Mohawk Storm piece, and then an X-Men piece like secondary. So let's try to select all of Mohawk Storm and kind of single her out on an alpha channel, so that we can kind of like figure out what we're going to do with her and kind of like keep her separate from everything else. Make her like quickly selectable. You just finished flatting. We should I've been actually thinking about this a lot lately, that like I should be hiring people to flat for the stream because it reinvests into the community rather than hiring like Yes Flat. Like the reason I do Yes Flat is because they turn around like a crap ton of pages really fast. So like for example, on Saturday I was like, hey, this book's due Monday, here's half of it, give me whatever you can give me. And then on Sunday they gave me 8 pages Sunday morning. So like it didn't interrupt my workflow at all, which is great. But like for something like this, it would be cool to like, you're cheap, you're great, you can meet deadlines, we'll talk. Yeah, for something like this it would be good to like involve the community, so I can credit you, you can get your name out there, you know. I'm gonna throw a little money your way. It'll be good. All right, so we have like Mohawk Storm and her Storm Cloud. We're gonna select the inverse and then deselect the yellow and deselect the ground. Here is everybody else. Visually, this is the goal. Like, I know that we're like, this is super broad strokes, but like visually this is the goal. I'm hoping to do like Storm in kind of like blue lightning lit, you know, and then everybody else kind of like folds into like the yellow background. Yeah, I have some aspiring colorists flatting in my Discord. Yeah, I've been trying to figure out like a good way to involve the community, but like, you know, I can't do it practically when I'm like, you know, doing 4 or 5 pages a day for work. You know, it's just too fast to try someone out. If I do try someone out, like it runs the risk of like they bite off more than they can chew just because they don't know, you know, like how fast they can do. You think you've done really well involving people already? Yeah. I mean, like I don't know. That's kind of the goal of the stream though, to like try to lift people up. By the way, Storm's skin tone is not dark enough. we got to go way darker. Let's not be afraid to do dark skin tones. Hey, Chaz West, thank you. I don't know why it pings twice. Yeah, I try to involve people from the community as much as possible because like I also like getting better at this, but also kind of uncomfortable with general praise. So if the stream becomes like kind of half about you and half about me, then like it's like, oh, it's for all of us, and that's what I want. I want it for all of us. Logan's armpits should be skin color. Oh, all right, let's get in there. Man, this is not a... I used to be so pro brown Wolverine, and I think that's just nostalgia, because now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, brown Wolverine is bad. It's got like armpit holes. Like, what is even happening on this costume? Full pants expose the armpit. All right. So let's think. If we're gonna do, it looks like a pile of diarrhea. If we're gonna do Storm and blue, let's kind of like lay our claim. You do not get that smoke ball, erase it. Yeah, this, like the fact that it's like under his chin, we might tweak it so that it's not under his chin or something. Yeah, okay. Tom is an incredible, very tall artist. I don't understand. I agree. I'm in Rico's camp. We're going to try to make that work. Brown Wolverine is a 70s living room. Oh my god. Musky Wolverine smell, please. Chat, please. Pheromones don't work. You can't get bottled Wolverine pheromone. So, I want to go dark for Storm. And then kind of like do her dark to light, paint in highlights, and then do everybody else light to dark. Kind of like swap it. You didn't even know that was smoke. Yeah, you love Brown Wolverine. Yeah, I wasn't firmly in the Brown Wolverine camp. I think it's just because I grew up on 80s X-Men, but I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if Brown Wolverine is a good thing. So she's got her storm cloud at the top. We're gonna try to make it. We're gonna try to make it like darker up there. I don't know if the red is quite what we want, but like the blue doesn't really work. We're getting this like this tone in here. Ooh, no. Like you feel like the brown Wolverine on Google looked better because it had so much black. Yeah, that might be another thing too. It might look better with different kind of like art styles and artists. It's a weird thing. Like, it's the same way with like like Babs Tarr made the new Batgirl design when she did Batgirl of Burnside, I believe it's what it's called. And when she draws it, it makes sense to me. But when I see other artists do it, I'm like, this doesn't work as well. This just doesn't, I don't know. Maybe we have that going on. All right, so it kind of looks like Storm up front, and then like Rogue and Wolverine next. Rogue, Wolverine, and Nightcrawler next. And then Kitty Pryde, and then Colossus from like front to back. This is the colorist hangout. So I think I'm gonna try to pull Colossus back, but we're not quite done with the background. Like, we're kind of doing the Storm thing up top, but man, it still kind of looks like it does a thing that, like, this looks a little better. One of the things that I hate, we out here. One of the things that I hate is, or we can step back, like this kind of color, this like brown desaturated. This is total bullshit. Like this is not good. And not where you want to be. And it's so easy to be like, well, we ran the grad, yellow to blue. This is what it is. Let's just keep going. But like, it sucks. You gotta like fight that grad to like get somewhere better. But like, this is where we ended up. That's better. And we can darken up the top a little bit more. And we'll kind of like, we should texturize the back a little bit. We can do that, actually. We can work on that. This is a custom brush that I downloaded forever ago that I use on like everything. It's just kind of like a watercolory kind of brush. We're just gonna add a little tooth and texture in. See how it goes. So one of the things we were talking about in the Discord in the time off was Um, I think it's Alterna Press posted that they were looking for colorists, and I posted it in the Discord thinking, oh, like there are colorists in the Discord, and occasionally when I see job postings, I'm like, hey, if anybody wants to like check this out, like here it is. And then we started talking about how apparently terrible that company is. Like I don't know them very well at all. Like I can't, I didn't do any of my own research, but the stories that I was hearing were all pretty bad. And they apparently, like, whatever your politics or whatever is, apparently they print on newsprint, and they were having like this call for colorists, and it blew my mind because like if you are an aspiring and like people are answering, which is fine, everybody's got to do what they got to do, and like I don't begrudge anyone for trying to get a leg up, trying to break into the business. The thing is that they print on newsprint, so the newsprint is gonna like it's gonna destroy your color. Like I remember when Vertigo comics were still printed on newsprint in like the early 2000s, and you look at any book from the 80s, like when we scanned the New Mutants thing, you open it up and it's like gray on the inside, like the color just doesn't last. So like any colorist who was being like, oh, like this is my way in, like I can get you lose all the saturation. So like this is that company's like hook, was like, we print on newsprint, it smells like old comics smell, which I get, but like if you're not printing in black and white, or you're not printing specifically with newsprint in mind, if you're like hiring new people, new colorists who don't have a lot of experience with newsprint and print in general, then you're gonna have a bad time. And not only that, but like those colorists are gonna come away with something that they think, oh, I'm gonna get these comps in the mail, and then I can take this to a show that like I'm like hitting deadlines, doing work out here, and like get hired again. But the reality is that like they're going to get these comps in the mail, and the comps are going to look bad because it's going to be newsprint. There's nothing they can do about that. And so they're going to have to like go to a con and be like, hey, I got these comps. They don't look great, but trust me, they're fine. Like they look better digital. It's going to be like a nightmare, And then we were talking about how a bunch of colorists were submitting to this thread, because the guy was like, submit to the thread, don't give me links. I don't know. It was like a weird thing. He was like, just put it all in the thread. And oh man. If you guys have ever hung out, I know we have some new viewers in the chat, but if you guys have ever hung out for one of the portfolio reviews that I did, that I do from time to time, I think we've done 3, which if you want to subscribe, you can get a portfolio review yourself. The amount of people who were just like, so would flat color with halftones work for newsprint? Maybe. It depends on the halftones that you're using. It really, like, the whole thing depends on the ink levels that you're using. And I would venture to say that even if your ink levels are like tight and like, nice and light, like maybe 150%, like topped out, it's still going to print gray. Halftones would bleed. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. It's going to bleed, and it's going to print grayer than you think it's going to print. So like you would have to lean into it being gray. It's a weird I don't know why they're making that but then they're like, we're selling the comics at, like, we're doing newsprint, and then we're selling the comics for like $1.50, which is like admirable, but like if the comic looks like garbage because you're printing on newsprint and then you're selling it for $1, like I just, man, I want to make like good quality comics, and like I feel like printing on newsprint is the enemy of that. Like there's a reason the industry shifted. I would rather pay personally $4 for a good looking comic with nice color than $1.50 for a bullshit comic. Personally, I don't know. This is like, it's their own business practice. They can do what they want. But I was talking about how, I think they're trying to make a niche. I can't imagine why they even are trying to print in color though. Like if they're going to go black and white, like if they went black and white or maybe like one color or two color thing, they wouldn't necessarily have to hire a colorist, and clearly they're looking to cut costs. And they could kind of just like do what they want. And I think they know that the colors are going to come out bad because they were like, we're looking for cartoony kind of stuff. And I think that if you go like full render, like gradients of color, it's not going to look as good. You're going to end up with something that doesn't quite work. So like it was a weird thing. So I was talking about this in the Discord, and we were saying that like, here's the thing. Here's the takeaway that I would love to give to you guys. You not so secretly love the way those Vertigo trades looked. Might be brown Wolverine nostalgia. Yeah. Well, this is the thing. So I started at Xylanol Studios when I started doing color, and we were doing Constantine at the time, which was a Vertigo book at the time. I don't think it's Vertigo anymore. I think they folded him into the regular universe. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The point is that am I yeah, there we go. Trying to not get black. So what was I saying? Oh, so I was seeing these pages that Lee Lowridge was coloring at the time, like in real life, and I would see them on the screen looking amazing, and then we'd get the trade on newsprint and it would all get washed out, and it's just like why are we even, who the hell like, it's just so demoralizing. Old art looks better on old coloring with newsprint. You hate seeing Walt Simonson Thor issues with shiny computer coloring. That's funny that you say that, because I picked out some Walt Simonson Thor stuff to do some shiny computer coloring on. But this is the thing. It's like you gotta handle that stuff right. Like you can't just be like, color it like everything else. You gotta like, I don't know. There's a way to do it. I know Tom is putting these shapes in here, but I think we're gonna cut these shapes. You have a friend who was an inker at DC Vertigo who hated how all her inks printed. Yeah, it turns to mush. Yeah. There's like no fine detail. So anyway, the point is, and the thing that I would like to the wisdom that I would like to impart to you at home, dear viewer, is that like, if you're going to, I understand, let me couch this statement. When I was out of college, I was told to take every single opportunity I possibly could, no matter what. I was told to like, any quick tips on separating line art from its white background? You think it's different recoloring a cover or pinup than doing a full? Oh yeah, than doing a full series. I'll get to that in a minute, Erica. Are you talking about just like getting flats done in general? We can talk about that in a minute. But yeah, so I was told to take every single opportunity, no matter what, because it was like, you never know where you're going to break in. Like wide shot, like just everything. Say yes to everything. And I don't know that like comics should necessarily be like that anymore. Like before you take a project, I think it's important for a colorist, especially a colorist, because like here's the here's the real thing is that like a colorist is oftentimes low on the totem pole when it comes to like, you know, how the respect given, the notoriety, blah 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 blah, all those things. So you really have to have like a reason to do a book, you know, especially if you are at home and you're like thinking about getting into coloring and you're doing some coloring on the side, and you're looking for somebody to take a chance on you, and you know that like you're not going to get a ton of money. You're trying to get somebody to take a chance on you. So like maybe you're not going to get a ton of money, but like the things that you should look for are like, is this going to make a good portfolio piece? Am I going to get to show off on this? With the newsprint, no, you're not. You're not at all. Because the newsprint's going to like kill it. So like as cool as it is to like get something in print, like the newsprint is going to destroy it. And then the other thing that you got to ask yourself is, like, if you're not going to get money, and if you're not going to get, like, if you can't make like a living off it, if it's the page rate isn't high enough for that, and then you're not going to get a great portfolio, then like the other thing that you could potentially get are contacts. And Rico, I'm just trying to impart my wisdom. The other thing that you can potentially get are contacts. And like, if you're thinking about getting contacts, like you need to look at like, is the company making stuff that you want to be a part of? If that's true, do it up. You know, because chances are they might hire you for something else down the road. Is the writer new as well? Or does he have stuff out there? If the writer has stuff out there, if the artist has stuff out there, check it out before you jump in. Like, if you think, Erica, we're going to talk about that in a second. It's actually pretty easy. I actually am going to start doing small coloring videos on YouTube that are like bite-sized, this is how you do this kind of thing. And I'm going to talk about channels and layers in a second. But yeah, so it's like, if the company is making stuff that you want to be a part of, do it. If you're looking at what they're making and you're like Alterna Press, their numbers are somewhere in like, on their best book are like in the 3,000s, which isn't like super high. So it's like, they don't even really have like a ton of reach. So it's like, okay, if you're not getting a comic in a lot of people's hands, if you're not going to get paid well, and it's going to print on newsprint so you don't get a portfolio piece, you better sure as shit want to be working there with those people that you want to work with. Like, because otherwise, like, I don't know what the colorist is actually getting out of that situation. And those are like the pillars of what you want to think about every time you take a job. Like, because taking a job, I used to just take everything, and I don't think that it worked in my favor. Like, because I would get offers for things that were cool that like I couldn't do because I was working on stuff that I didn't really want to work on. And I know that like when you're starting, like you gotta kind of, you know, you're not exactly drowning in offers or anything, but it's like, you know, everything has a cost to it, like an opportunity cost. So I want you guys to make the best decisions that you can make for your opportunity cost. Additionally, the amount of people who were submitting like 4 pics on that thread, because the thread was public, you know, like everybody was submitting publicly. The amount of people who submitted 4 pinups and no sequential pages drove me out of my mind. I was ready to freaking flip the table. Like, it's the mentality of like, well, I built this birdhouse, so I could probably build a real house that I could live in. It's like mind-boggling. Like, and I mean, maybe he's looking at, you know, just hiring somebody new, so he's like, you know, whatever. But like, if you want to stand out, sequentials, man. Like, post sequentials. Y'all are killing me out there. You saw a post that said, what you should choose to do is meet 2 of the following: passion, prestige, pay. Yeah, exactly. Like, it should be something that you're either like passionate and excited to work on, pay well, or prestige. Yeah, you should get like, you know, notoriety from it. If you don't fall into those categories, it's kind of like not worth, you know, not worth doing. Human houses overrated. Yeah, exactly. So Chaz said in the chat, I can maybe on a good day kind of color a pinup, but pages are freaking hard. Yeah. We're not talking about pinups as females. Yeah, we're talking about pinups like this. This is a pinup. This is, or covers, or whatever you want to call them. So are we sampling all layers with the wand? No, we are not. Are we just picking up? We're picking up like half a, yeah, we're picking up like half a thing. So yeah, just think about what you're jumping into, especially if you're jumping into something that's like a 6-month project or a 7-month project, because like you're gonna learn real fast if you don't like something that like you've made a horrible mistake. But yeah, Chaz commented that yeah, the don't look at me emote. Yep, it's perfect for that. Chaz said that like, you know, he can color a pinup sometimes, but like struggles with a page, and the reason for that is because like if you don't have like a solid foundation of like color theory and how to direct the flow of the page, like you add all these complications when you have to do more than one single image, you know, when it's like 6 images on a page, and then it has to all flow together, has to have a sense of environment, and then on the next page you have to continue the same sense of environment. Like you add all these things to already difficult process. It's tough. All right, we're gonna get into Color and Storm, but before I do that, let's talk real quickly about Sequential is a different beast. Yeah, man, I was talking about this in the Discord chat in the sketchbook challenge today. I was like, man, sketchbook challenge is like, okay, you know, when you're drawing, you have like anatomy you got to worry about, and then you have environments that you got to worry about. And then you got to meld both of them together into an artful composition that makes sense and continues through the page. Like, I can draw somebody in a room, no problem. It's a whole other beast making that room look like the same room over and over and over again. You know? Like, it's just difficult. You got to have like a strong foundation. All right. Let's talk real quick because Erica brought it up. We'll slow it down a little bit. So, with Tom's art, and we talked about this a little bit before with Declan's art, but let's just touch on it again. And you know what? I'm going to try to let the coffee breathe through my system. We're going to slow down. Tom's art is black, white, and gray. So, the best way to handle black, white, and gray is to do this. So, okay, we have the line art here We're going to select all. We're going to copy it. So now we got a copied piece in the clipboard. With gray art, you're going to have to work in layers because you can't really adequately work in channels. Normally what I do is I'll go to like CMYK, take the art, post it into the black channel, or the line art into the black channel. Maybe one day you'll get it. You'll get it, Chaz. You just gotta put some time in there, man. Like, anybody can do this. It's just time. Like anything else. It's like, how often do you want to work on it? If you're gonna work on it like twice a year, probably not gonna get that much better. If you work on it, 5 times a week, 4 times a week, you're gonna slowly get better. You just gotta put the time and practice in. I believe in you, dog. So yeah, normally I just drop the line art, and if it's black and white, like if it's threshold, like if it looks like this, you can just drop it in. No problem. And if you deselect the black channel by holding down shift and clicking black and then clicking the little eyeball here, now we are working in cyan, magenta, yellow only. So if you pick a color, all these colors up here, by the way, are a curated palette to only be cyan, magenta, or yellow. You can see right here. This is 60% cyan and nothing else. You can work right under the line art. No problem. And you're in channels. You only got to do one layer. It's like done deal. So you can just kind of sit here and be like, all right, let's flat her outfit. Fill. Oh my God. Don't do it like that. Don't look at that. Okay. Like, you flat you do your wand, your fills, whatever. If you are working with gray line art, let's walk it back. Okay. If you're working with gray line art, you can try to take this and drop it into the black channel, but it's going to start to look weird. Like, it's going to print kind of bad. It's like you're going to struggle to do, like, so we're going to like colorize some of the lightning effects. You're going to get like locked into being like, okay, we're going to colorize this lightning. I got to select the lightning part, image, adjust, threshold. Oh, let's just do the black. Image, adjust, threshold. Okay, we've threshold it. Now we can kind of like colorize it a little bit. Like go back to CMYK, colorize it. But like we're like losing his lines because he's working in gray. Thresholded. Holded isn't a word. Thresholded. Threshold, right? I don't know. So you don't want to do that. What you want to do is take the whole line art, all the line art, and instead of pasting it into the black channel like this, you're gonna have to a threshold was placed. Oh my God, chat. Instead, you're gonna make a new layer, and now on the bottom layer, you want to have a blank black channel, and you want to work CMY only. If you start to put like K-tones down, you're going to run into problems. It's going to print darker than you think it's going to print. It's going to print muddy. You're going to start to run into problems with like the level of the ink that you're putting down on the page. The like percentage of CMYK that you're going to put down is going to start to get out of control. You don't want to do that. So what you want to do is keep the black channel clear. And we kind of did that. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's very faint. But Wolverine's got a little bit of gray in him. We'll fix that. But you make a new layer. And like when I started doing comics, and you could probably do this too if you were flatting. You could probably just paste it in, set it to multiply, and then like do your thing. Oh my God. Please. Please, computer, please. Yeah, you could probably just do your thing, flat it however you wanted to flat it, and you'd be fine. But if you were making a finished product, you would want to take this layer. Let's clear it out. Oh God. You'd want to fill it with black. 60, 60, 40, 100. Not this Photoshop black that's like 90% K. That's not what you want. You want 60, 60, 40, 100. Fill the layer. You missed how I separated the line art from the white background. So I just used the original document. Like, you just like copy it. Yeah, so we can take this 60, 60, 40, 100, fill it, and then create a mask. Paste the line art in, invert it so that the white parts are going to be black and the black parts are going to be not black. There we go. Perfect. And this lets you, when you do it like this, so we have a bunch of like gray stuff going on up here. We can actually go to this level or this layer, pick a color, and just paint in the blue and preserve the line art. We're preserving all the like, you know, little grays and stuff that are going on in Tom's line. We made it look like he's painting with blue. Yeah, you're not actually separating it. It's crazy because like if you look at the layer panel right here, this is actually like without the mask. Like if we delete the mask, delete. This is what the layer looks like. It's just black. It's just black. What we're doing is creating a mask. And if we leave it like this, it's going to be inverted. So it's going to be like the black areas are the white areas. So we want to invert it. Like a negative. Yeah. So yeah, that makes it super easy to do color holds. And like if you're doing it like this, you can also do color holds that are going to be like gradients, stuff like that. It's super easy to get into, and you won't mess with any of the line art or any of the color underneath it. It kind of like lets you do a lot of like extra kind of things. Like we're gonna start to like fade Colossus back by like, you know, knocking out some of the line art with the yellow, and like, you know, it's gonna be good. This is gonna be a fun piece, and we're gonna get to like do a lot of different kind of fun stuff. But yeah, so that's like slowed down. This is kind of like how I do things. And the advantage to this rather than the multiply is that you get like in the blacks, the parts that are like real black, you stick to the 60, 60, 40, 100. And that formula is important because that's going to print black. You're like, it's when you have it in your hand, it's going to look black, but it's also not going to be too much ink for the printer to handle. So that's what's called super black. So yeah, that's basically how you do. Is it normal for the mask to get muddier than the original flatted artwork scanned? I don't think it's muddier. I mean, let's investigate. Let's put it side by side. It's not muddier. Yours isn't, or mine isn't, but yours is. Yeah, get that rich black. That's weird. It shouldn't do that. You should be able to cut it and paste it right into the mask. If you alt click the mask and then paste it in, it should get pasted right in word for word, or word for word, pixel for pixel. I don't know. Yeah. All right, let's color Storm. Let's make her dope as hell. All right, So we're gonna select Storm. We don't want any of this stuff selected. None of the lightning or anything yet. Tolerance maybe? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, no problem. It's like literally why I do this, Eric. I wanna help lift you guys up. And because also there's like so many like there's good resources for making comics and doing coloring out there, and then there's terrible resources out there from amateur people who don't know what they're talking about. And so like part of the reason why I do this stream is so that, you know, if you guys are struggling with something out there, like you have an opportunity to talk to somebody who's been doing this for a long time and can give you like real answers. All right. So what are we doing? We're deselecting the shadows. So let's think about this. Any recommendations on good resources? Well, so I went to college for this. College is a good well, is college even a good resource? I don't even know. I would say that please recommend the bad ones too. So JK, no trauma. So K. Michael Russell has a course package that you can get. He is going to teach you how to color in a more complicated way than I necessarily know how. There's another colorist, Charlie Kirchhoff, something like that. I went to college with him. He learned the same way I did. He made a course package. I can't speak, like I haven't taken these courses, so I can't speak to the value of them. They could be great. I don't really know. I am going to try to when I have time, which, whew, I'm gonna try to put these like small, like 7-minute. You've seen Charles's vids; they helped a ton. Yeah. Put these small lessons online for free, just to like give you guys, you know, a leg up, get the right information, and like. I know, like, you know, I don't fault K. Michael Russell or Charlie for, you know, doing these, you know, paid kind of things. Like you get a lot of extra stuff. I know with K. Michael Russell's, who's, I think the one that I would recommend, cause he goes into a lot of the technical stuff, and we could do some of that too. But you also get like one-on-one time with him when you order the thing. So I would say that like no matter what your skill level, that's probably valuable. I hope it isn't too off topic, but as someone to be mostly a line artist, this all rocks. Watching and learning this is great, and hopefully makes you a better collaborator. Yeah, hell yeah. That's the thing too, man. We were talking about in the Discord. So like, remember when I was like, hey, millennials are all going to color themselves and they're going to take all of our jobs, and it's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. Remember when we had that conversation? We were talking about that in the Discord too. This doesn't really work anymore because all the old people started doing it. But yeah, knowing parts of the process to make things go more smoothly is definitely a thing. Everybody should, writers included, should try to make their own comics start to finish from scratch. You'll learn a ton. We're taking out dark parts. Right. Okay. I gotta remember that. So before the old people got on the art v artist hashtag that's been floating around Twitter, that was like a perfect illustration of what I was talking about, where I was like, millennials are talking about comics in a way where they like see a finished colored piece and they're like, that's comics and I'm going to make comics. So they're coloring themselves. If you clicked on that link when the hashtag was like new, it was like young person, full color illustrations, young person, full color illustrations, young person, full color illustrations. And then like every once in a while it'd be like young person, black and white, like once in a while. It was, and I mean, it's not indicative of like, you know, I'm sure all those people are not going to eventually end up in comics. Like I'm sure they'll end up in concept design and blah, 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 blah. You know, like they'll bounce around in animation or whatever. They'll find opportunities wherever they find opportunities. No offense, but you don't want to color your own pages. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I don't think coloring's gonna, like, we've talked about this ad nauseum, but like, I don't think coloring's gonna go away. I do think that it's going to be significantly reduced. I think that the way comics are being made is not the way that it's going to stay forever. And that was my point. That like this idea of like segmented approaches might not always stick around. Because, and Kurt Busiek was tweeting about this. Let's see if I can find it actually, because it's worth talking about. He was talking about this thread where he talked about inkers and how inkers were always around in like the 60s, 70s. Like it used to be, 40s through 80s or so. You would, as a penciler, do like loose pencils and even have a guy for backgrounds, you know, like, and you would crank out pages and then the inker would tighten everything up. You would kind of like gesture everything in, kind of like maybe gesture shadows, but you weren't thinking like this is a final page. And then the people who were in like my generation in like the 80s looked at these and were like, this is how comics are, you know, like this finished fully tight thing. And they started copying what was there on the page. And like part of what his argument is like, you know, like technology changed and inkers changed, like technology got better. You know, obviously like I didn't have a Cintiq when I was in college. Technology got better. Photoshop wasn't everywhere when I was in college. Technology got better. But he was also saying that like the perception of what a comic book was shifted. And because the tech was there for people to experiment with inks, and because you know, people were thinking about a finished comic book page like penciled and inked, like my drawing is done, you know, inkers started like not being as prevalent within the industry. And so that's what he's talking about in this thread. And I'm going to link the thread in the chat so you can see it if you want to see it. So he goes on and on and on about this because Kurt is very, very wordy. So he talks about all this stuff and then he's like, you know, it's kind of like boils down to like, there's an emotional component. There's like a physical component of tech. Oh, you got your link got squashed. We'll figure it out. Erica, you're in the Discord. Post it in the Discord. We'll talk about it later. So I feel like there is certainly a tech component of like, you know, the technology's there, so the way that you make things changes. Printing got easier and better unless you're printing on newsprint like an idiot. Or Maybe idiot is too harsh, but I'm not picking up newsprint comics unless they were made in the 80s. um, but oh my god, I started thinking about this differently. Please, we're getting rid of shadows. We're getting rid of shadows. Shadows. We're thinking about shadows. All right. My brain like switched to being like highlights instead of shadows. Yeah, throw it in the Discord. We'll figure it out. Yeah, so like there's definitely like this tech aspect, but there's also this like emotional aspect of like when people read comics, what do they think comics are? And when people are kids, and they're like, I'm getting into comics. I want to make comics. I'm going to make comics at home. What do they think it is? You know, when I was growing up in the 80s, I thought comics was this like finished, you inked it yourself kind of thing. Like I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm going to be a penciler. And I was just working on pencil skills. I didn't realize it was like this segmented thing. And so the way comics got made shifted to what it is now. And, you know, for better or worse. Are we still thinking about shadows? Oh my god. I'm talking and my brain is like, let's just switch back and forth between shadows and highlights. I'm like, oh, God, please no. And so what I'm saying is like, what Kurt is talking about is the same thing that I was talking about, but I'm like extrapolating these ideas to the future. What I'm saying is like, now that Photoshop is everywhere, the tech is readily available, and you have an entire generation that is growing up with the internet, and they're posting stuff and they're getting bigger reactions from color work, and they're seeing comics in full color that are beautiful. They're like, I'm going to make full color comics because that's how comics are made, you know? That isn't to say everybody's thinking like that, but I'm sure more people who are getting into comics without thinking about how quote unquote comics are made. Oh my god, I'm doing it again. I really got to focus up. You know, without thinking about like exactly how they're made and investing the time to like study the resources, they're probably, you know, thinking about comics as full color. You can now wait 3 months for a 20-page comic. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I just finished Nightwing 44, and the artist who drew it inked himself, and now we are getting an inker going forward. So, you know, like, time is a thing, and, like, you only have so much time in the day, and, like, it depends on, like, what you want to invest your time in. And, like, I've seen some covers from Jem Bartel that other people have colored, even though she's like totally capable of coloring herself. So it's like, shit, man. Like, hey, Boix, thank you for the cheer. Here's to survival. Yeah, so I mean, like, time is a factor and important, but like, you know, I'm just throwing out the musings, giving you something to chew on. I also feel like just diversifying what you're able to do is a good thing. It's always going to be a good thing. Oh my god. Are we going to Photoshop this out, Fake McCoy? I think it's because, like, Tom was like, he's moving forward. So the smoke puff floats under his chin, you know, like that kind of thing. It'll look better when we get around to that part. Yeah, your generation and younger has access to computers and tablets and Manga Studio and Adobe products. Yeah, so they're learning this exactly. Like when I started making comics as I thought of them, I was working pencil and ink, and like I thought Photoshop was going to be a fad. Like computer comics were gonna be this. And you know, in my defense, there were some terrible computer comics that were floating around. And like, you know, Photoshop couldn't make, you know, lines look natural at all, and you know, it looked very digital. But like the tech got better in my lifetime. This is starting off well. Thanks. And so I think that's going to be a thing, you know? I think that in 10 years time, we're going to see kind of a shift to like people coloring their own self. People coloring themselves. What is happening with this leg? Figure it out. All right. I'm doing it again. I'm thinking about highlights and not, because this is how I like, normally I color light to dark. And I think my brain just like is like, oh, you know what to do. I'm going to take a back seat, let muscle memory take over. No brain. You got to work with me. All right, let's fill and see how this looks with Storm. All right, we gotta figure out. I mean, I guess she's gonna be blue, but we're gonna tweak it. There is no leg, only puff. Oh no. We goofed it down here. We goofed it right here. See? Broke my damn brain. Thanks, Hulk Hoquin, for the 100 bits. My brain goofed it. I got a brain goof. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna fix it after we fix it, though. I goofed it in here too. Oh my god, this is a disaster. Everyone unfollow, please. I'm not worthy of your follows. I did it all in her shirt. Is all wrong. All the pants are all wrong. All right, we're gonna start here. Start to fix things. All right. Should we just like start over with the pants? Like that seems like it might need to happen. Gradients. No. We need to make it tweakable. No gradients right now. All right, I gotta fix that, the right one by hand. I goofed it. Yep. So many goofs. You want your bits back? There's a no bit return policy because I don't know how to do that. Yeah. So I was recently chatting with Robert, who draws Heartthrob, another book that I work on, which you guys should all check out if you haven't checked out yet. It's like a heist romance kind kind of thing. It's awesome. Robert Wilson IV does the art. Um, there's a legit no return policy on pits. Okay, perfect. Um, then I've successfully gotten your $1. uh, yeah. So I was recently chatting with him. He's gonna be at Heroes, and he was wondering if I needed a room. I'm also gonna be at Heroes, in addition to MegaCon. Um, I think like MegaCon is in like Memorial Day weekend, and then MegaCon Orlando, and then Heroes is in June, which I don't know if Rico's still in the chat, but he helps run that show, and that show is one of my favorites. Even if I don't do a lot of cons, which I'm not doing this year, I'm not doing a ton. I always do Heroes. Yeah, anti-establishment heist romance. Yeah, perfect. That is what Heartthrob is. But he was like, hey, now that my house is in a wreck, he was doing like home renovations. He's like, I want to come onto the stream and chat comics with you. So I think we're going to try to have Robert on at some point soon. And I know Oming has also expressed interest. We work on Cave Carson together. Cave Carson issue 2 is out today. So yeah, we got some cool stuff happening for the stream. Some cool stuff that's gonna eventually be super fun. Gonna have some friends on. You're sad you can't do Heroes this year? Yeah, man. My 2 years ago, a year ago, my mother got remarried, and she picked the same weekend as Heroes, and I was like, of all weekends, like this is like, you need to come down to Miami. Whoa. Rico, are you doing a Miami show? Cave is Fire. Love that book. Thank you, Chaz. Yeah, we're gonna have Oming on. We're gonna talk a lot of Cave Carson. I actually, here's a little tidbit for you guys. I actually just put in Cave Carson in the issue 3, a stereogram. So I posted it in the Discord, so the Discord knows. But what it is like, you remember those Magic Eye things from when you were a kid? Or maybe I'm old now and you don't remember it, but it's like a 90s thing. It was in Mallrats, so you probably know what I'm talking about if you're ingrained in comic book culture. But it was a thing where, like, if you relaxed your eyes, looked beyond the page, like an image would show. Am I coming to SuperCon? No, I am not. Where is SuperCon? I don't even know. I actually am going easy on cons this year. Discord link below. Yeah, Discord link is below, right down there. If you want to check it out, it's in the info for the Twitch page. Just click on the link that says Discord. So I did this thing where you kind of like relax your. I did like 3 layers of eyeballs while Cave is activating his cybernetic eye. Three lines of eyeballs that are closer together as they go down, and so if you relax your eyes, the eyeballs actually pop off the page. So while you're looking at Cave using his cybernetic eye, you're relaxing your eyes. The eyeballs will pop off the page at you. It's like freaking bananas. I think that it's the only stereogram I've ever seen in comics. So I don't know if that's true, but I feel like it's true, and so then that makes it true, right? That's how truth works now. God. So yeah, I'm stoked on it. I was very excited to show that to the team. I actually gotta re-up, see if I can get some more trades from DC. You're about to make a sailboat joke. Yeah, I mean, it's in the culture. As much as we either want or don't want Kevin Smith in the culture, he's in the culture. We don't have an option. Thanks, Hulk Hoquin. Uh, so let's figure out. Gotta get some like decent like roots on the mohawk. Kind of like separate this out a little bit better. Her skin tone does not looks too blue. As much as like it's neat to have it this blue, it should not be this blue. So we are going to try to warm it up a little bit. And we are actually going to kind of take this and drag it through, try to make it like, make her skin tone nice and dark. There we go. There we go. We're going to add some like highlights and stuff to her too. But this is a good starting point. Add this kind of like maroon to it. Yeah, man, I'm stoked on Cave, by the way. Like, I know I say this a lot, but like, man, it's such a fun book to do. We get to take like so many risks. You're from Central New Jersey, so your culture options are Bruce Springsteen or Kevin Smith. That's a real Sophie's choice. When I was growing up, like, you know, back in the 90s, Kevin Smith was everywhere, and Mallrats was, I was like addicted to Mallrats because it was like the only thing of like comic book culture that like I found that like, you know, like made its way into regular pop culture. So I was like, oh, this is what comics are, you know? I always wanted to go with my friends to like Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash in Jersey because we were like kind of close enough to drive from where I was growing up in Connecticut. And but we never, it was like just long enough to really never make it to the shop. And then like every once in a while I think about like, oh, I'm an adult now. I can just go to New Jersey if I want to and go to Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. But like the moment has passed. Like I have zero desire anymore to see like Kevin Smith memorabilia, you know? Like it's like the last thing on my mind. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like I kind of wish that I had made the trip when I was younger, when it like meant a lot to me. Kevin Smith writing Daredevil brought you back to comics in high school. Yeah, man. Bendis' Daredevil kept you in. Yeah. I actually really enjoyed for all of Kevin Smith's just rewatch Clerks the animated series instead. Yeah. For all of Smith's blunders and whatever, and I'm just kind of like, he just kind of like, I don't know, wore out his welcome with me a little bit. I do still look fondly back on the Clerks animated series and the Mallrats just because I'm like nostalgic for it. And then also his run on Daredevil's great, like you said, Pop, and also his run on Green Arrow. His run on Green Arrow is the first introduction I had to Phil Hester's work. Phil Hester, also great on Twitter. He's one of my favorite people to follow. He had this advice, by the way, for comics making advice, and I think this is pretty indicative of like what I was talking about when I was saying that, you know, you should like make comics the way you want to make comics, and like the game's changing and you're coloring yourself, and millennials are changing the way they're perceiving comics, and like all of this to say, like I think Hester like put it more succinctly when he said blow it all up, kids. Like this, I feel like this is what comics is going to be in the future. Like whatever the fuck you want it to be. Yeah. I mean, there's comics advice that you can take that's like, hey, like this is the way to get things to print well. Like that's advice that you should take 100%. But if like I ever say something with that's like, this is the way comics are made and you can't deviate from the formula of like Captain America is always going to be like XYZ. I don't think I'm ever going to say something like that. But if I do, you should know that Nickfil is old and wrong, and you should probably stop listening to him. That was the only shop close to you growing up. We started taking the train up to the city, and it was always terrible. The shop was terrible. Kevin Smith's secret stash. Fake McCoy, who's in the chat usually, works at a shop called Funny Books. I don't know if he still works there or he works there part-time now. That's in the Jersey area. I'm sure he would recommend it. I don't know if he's a competitor with the Secret Stash or not. All right, Storm might be too blue. She might be too blue. But we might have to like call this at a certain point. At 1:46, we're gonna work a little bit more, but we're gonna have to call it at a certain point because I have to actually get like actual work done. Hey, Light Hands, how you doing, man? How you feeling? Are you healed up from the repetitive stress injury? Yeah, the dudes who worked there were total assholes. I believe it. I mean, it sucks, but like my default point of view of like walking into a new comic shop is like emotionally bracing myself for people to be assholes. And that sucks so bad. I wish that comic shops were just normal, regular shops, you know? But they're not. In a lot of cases, they're kind of crappy. I don't know. I've had a lot of friends talk about the shop here in Gainesville in not so positive lights, but I've never had a problem at Mega. I've really enjoyed all my interactions there, but I think that I might get better treatment because I used to be a Magic player, and so I've spent a ton of money getting there with the healing. Pupper's not doing good, man. We gotta I talked about this a little bit in the beginning of the stream, but he's part of the reason why my streaming has been so sporadic lately. Yeah, I think he's dying. We're gonna see. I'm holding out hope. We're gonna like exhaust everything that we need to exhaust before we figure it out. But he's 13. He's not doing great. For posterity, past Nickfil. Is this me talking about not listening to me when I'm old? Yeah, we'll see what happens. If I we're trying to keep the stream train going again, but if I do duck out, dear viewer, yeah, I know. If I do duck out for a while, as far as streaming goes, that is probably the reason, is because I am not in a great mood and don't want to give you like a subpar stream of me like moping around, because I think he is close, unfortunately. Poor little guy. Let's not talk about it. I'm gonna get emotional. All right. So we're like kind of coloring Storm, but man, she's blue. Should we try to fix that? Or should we try... at this point, I'm like, maybe we should just paint the whole thing and then fix it with sliders. That's kind of where my head's at. Yeah, good boy, De Niro. Yeah. Um, the blue is cool. You like it? Hmm. It is like super fucking gutsy. I mean, maybe they've always been play to you at Mega, which is more than you could say about a lot of shops. Yeah, I actually, uh, my fiance walked into Mega once with me, and it was like, and you know, she's not. I mean, I hate to even say this because it's like, what does the typical comic buyer even look like? But she does not look like the typical comic buyer, and it was like record stop. She felt super uncomfortable, and now she will not go in that store. um she's like, if she's always like, if you're going in there, I'm gonna wait in the car, you can just pick up your box or whatever. I was like, okay. um I think that local Joe thinks it's too blue. Should probably keep it blue. um I think maybe we'll keep it blue, and then like work on the rest of it and see if we can kind of get the blue to work well with the rest of the composition. If we can get like blue ambient light a little bit on the characters while lighting them in yellow, I think that it can be a good thing. Like I think we can weave it into the entirety of the piece. That shop is definitely cave like. Yeah, absolutely. You definitely, and like the thing about that shop too is I don't know if you've ever spent like any extended period of time in there, but like when I was playing Magic in there, uh you don't get good cell phone reception, so you can't like price check the cards, which I don't know if that's by design or not, but I feel like that contributes to the cave likeness of it. They're actually all this to say, um not to plug their whole shit, but like they're actually gonna be moving and setting up a new shop, and I hope that it is not cave like in the next like 6 months. They said they're moving down the road, so I'm actually kind of stoked on it. Because like I said, they've always treated me pretty well. So Fake McCoy is if you're in the chat still, I just saw that you chatted. Are you is Funny Books a direct competitor with Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash? Just out of curiosity. You're here. I'm curious if you and the Funny Books throw down with the Secret Stash guys. Oh no, you're hours away from each other. Oh, you're near the Kubert School, right? Does the Kubert School still exist? I just kind of like wrap my mind around that. Is that still a thing? It's got to be still a thing. Connor Hughes went there. Um, you're one town over from the Kubert School? Yeah. Alright, let's figure out this leg. So, the lightning is casting down. His shop is Funny Books. I'd recommend it simply from knowing Fake McCoy. We've been friends since college. He's a good dude. You should stop into Funny Books and say hi. So yeah, we're lighting the knee like she's like the right leg. This leg is kind of like out in front of her a little bit, and then the left leg is kind of behind her a little bit. So the leg behind her is actually going to get covered up by her body quite a bit and be put more in shadow. Like stuttered there. So like we're not gonna have to like really render the crap out of this side, but we will render the crap out of this side. We'll get the boots too. We're gonna do all kinds of fun flares and stuff on the metal, but we're gonna leave that to the very end. This is looking really good. Any advice for coloring multi-character setups you're working on? Oh, you're working on the infinity piece? Good God, why? I would color the infinity piece. So for anyone that doesn't know, Canetti did a giant infinity piece. You keep telling yourself this is fine. Why do you hate yourself? Render the fuck out of it. Yeah. Smile through the pain, Johnny. So okay. Here's what I would say with multi-character pieces. Try to as you can, like, and we're doing the same thing here. So like when I started the stream, I talked about how Storm is the closest like upfront character. So she's getting her own light source. She's getting her own thing going on. And then the characters in the middle ground, which is everybody except for Colossus, I guess. Although there's like a weird overlap between Colossus and Wolverine here. And then Kitty Pryde's like, they're all kind of like folding in on each other. But Colossus is kind of in the back mentally. That's how I see it anyway. So Colossus is going to kind of get his own kind of faded color scheme. So you want to think about like foreground, middle ground, background, and do like 3 color schemes all the way through. We talked about it. If you're looking for, we talked about it a little bit on this, but if you want to see it more practically, on my YouTube page, which the link is down below, we colored a Spider-Man 2099 double page spread that included like 5 layers of like foreground, middle ground, background. And I talked about like the challenges of that and like how to make that work. So that would be my best advice to you if you're trying to color that crazy ass Canetti piece. Have a great stream. Back to work. Not coloring this Darrow for fun. Ouch your hand. Oh my God. Darrow is one of those, Jeff Darrow is one of those people that like, if they asked me to color him, I'd just say no. No, I'm good. He's an incredible artist, but oh man, do I not want to color a Jeff Darrow piece. Do we have a... How does this look? Yeah, a little toothy. Is it even a little toothy? It's a kind of. I don't know if this is... I'm gonna be straight with you, chat. My brain is a little fried. We've been streaming for a couple of hours. I kind of want to get Storm done, but I think that she might be as done as my brain can handle right now. So she's very blue. That happened. We can actually let's knock out the lightning before we call it a day. So because we are working in layers, we can just colorize this lightning with the brush. We want to try to like not leak it outside of the lightning, but if it does a little bit, it's not that big of a deal. And kind of just like quickly knock this out. Yeah. That's a good stream for you. It's an old stream, so the video quality of Photoshop is probably the same, but like I think my audio quality might be a little worse. Potentially my camera is bad. But yeah, tough it out. Check it out. See how it works for you. See if there's any gems in there. We colored that piece in like, I want to say like 6 parts. Like it was like nuts. So I don't know if all 6 parts are relevant, but like when I start to like lay down the plan, in like part 1 or 2, that should be relevant. Oh man. So I started a t-shirt account on one of those sites that like makes t-shirts on demand. I've been kicking around some ideas, but there's one for that I'm making specifically for Kevin Mellon. What stream was that? Oh, the Spider-Man 2099 stream. When we redid that cover, that was like forever ago. But yeah, there's Kevin Mellon was like, you should make a shirt that says Nickfil with like the Chick-fil-A logo. And so I think I might make that one t-shirt and put it up there. I don't know if you guys are interested in that at all. I was also thinking about making a couple shirts that were equally ridiculous, but I don't know if they'll actually sell. Like I've kind of realized that in doing the sketchbook challenge that the wheelhouse, my Student to Oblivion, my Nugget people. I mean, dude, if I got a cease and desist from Chick-fil-A, I would love that. I would happily take the thing down. People love stupid t-shirts, Nick. I'll keep that in mind. See, like, so I have a couple ideas for some stupid t-shirts, but like one of them is like kind of a 2-part thing. It's like one t-shirt is the setup and the other t-shirt is the joke, and I don't know if that's gonna work. Like that, I don't know if that's a thing that happens. I want to get a cease and desist for anything. Dude, the second I got a cease and desist for any reason, you can be sure as shit that I'm going to be all over Twitter being like, check out this thing I got. I finally made it. Corporations are standing up and taking notice of me. So we kind of did like a super chunky, loose, like lightning. Kind of like fade it here. We're gonna tweak all this with like special effects and stuff. Maybe we should change the lighting for her fist as well. Yeah. All right, this is starting to come together. We're gonna do next level idiocy. Good lord. So we're kind of getting to an end point here. We're gonna come back with fresh eyes and clear hearts tomorrow, or not tomorrow, on Friday. See if we should warm up Storm's skin tone or not, or if it's good or what. And then we're gonna start to get into figuring out this specific thing, this one thing. We're gonna spend a whole stream on this one smoke puff. Fresh eyes, fresh smoke puff. No, we're gonna get into the rest of it. Hopefully, we're gonna start to color more than just Storm. I don't know. We're gonna try to put down as many shadows as we can. Basic shadows, not do any painting. Like today we did shadows and then painting on Storm, but we're gonna put down basic shadows for basically everything else. So I'm not exactly sure how that is gonna roll, but we'll be okay. I'll guide us through it. So yeah, that's gonna be on Friday. I actually, oh man, is it around here? Can I show you guys the thing? I don't have the thing. Is it over there? The thing is not over there. So I bought here, we can post up for a second here. I bought a mystery game. I bought a Nick Professional Goofer Filardi. Hey, you're not far off. I bought a Murder, She Wrote point and click adventure game that came bundled, and to call it point and click is we're fast and loose with the rules, but it came bundled with a another game that's like a vampire one that is like kind of like a comic book and is terrible and is perfect. So I'm excited to play that. We might play that this weekend. If the games are like, if it's like funny for a second, and then like kind of terrible and like just silence in the chat, then like we'll switch from that to playing some PSP games, because I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I love the PSP. And I love non-Nintendo handhelds. Not because I hate Nintendo, but because for like whatever reason, I just always went all in on non-Nintendo handhelds like an idiot. Like every time. I'm like the only guy who bought the fucking Atari Lynx. I am the only guy who bought the Neo Geo Pocket Color. Like every time I was like, Nintendo, they're going to goof it up this generation. I'm onto them. I'm going to get the other thing. I was burned last time, but I'm going to get the other thing. It's a disaster every time. Game Gear was dope. Yo, I had a Game Gear. That thing ate batteries like you would not believe. The Game Gear was awesome and crushed the Game Boy for the first 30 minutes. And then when you can't play it anymore and your friend with the Game Boy is still playing, it's like, oh well. California Games was great on the Atari Lynx. Hell yeah. So anyway, we're going to play some PSP stuff. We're going to talk about the PSP. That's only if the Murder, She Wrote games are terrible. You don't think anyone liked the PSP? Wow, Erica. Oh man, you're gonna find one person who did this weekend. We might play some Sea of Thieves with the Boyks at some point. We talked about it a little bit. We're not locked in, but that might happen this weekend. Also, I'm gonna be excited to get back to some Curse the Iron Chef. We did actually. Let me see if I can bring it up for a second here. Well, so I did some layouts for Curse of the Iron Chef a couple weeks ago. These are like rough layouts for page 1 and 2, and it already doesn't make sense to me. Like, I think that the tactic is not to do a bunch of layouts and then take 2 weeks off. I don't think that's the tactic. I think the tactic is do the layouts, then, oh my god, do the page. Like, finish the page. So, we are going to the Turbo Express. I haven't, okay. The PC Engine Turbo Express, that's one of the only, handhelds that I did not get. The other one is the Wonder Swan. Those two are the only ones that I was not able to go all in on. I think because they're both like widely available in Japan and were like available in the US for like a hot minute before they were gone. So and plus I was pretty young when both those handhelds came out. Although I did end up with an Atari Lynx and a Game Gear, so, whatever. I don't know. Maybe my parents were instilling the questionable choices that I would go on to later make in life. I don't know. Questionable video game choices. At any rate, I'm excited to like decode this and figure out exactly what we're doing with these pages. And we're gonna start making pages, which is gonna be crazy and terrible. And it's basically gonna be me. You ever watch somebody like start walking and then they trip and then they're falling, but they don't fall yet, and they're like accelerating and they just keep going? But you're like, at any moment this person could just fall. That's basically what these streams are going to be, these Curse of the Iron Chef streams. And I'm excited to get back into them. We're going to do at least one this weekend. Start working on some pages. So yeah, tune in for that. And we are going to go back to this Tom Fowler 80s. Man, when you look at Tom Fowler's work next to my layouts don't look great. That was a mistake clicking over. So yeah, we're going to get back to this on Friday. We're hopefully going to be back to the regular streams. So settle in, dear viewer, and I hopefully will not ghost on you in the near future. At any rate, guys, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you got something out of it. Hop in the Discord if you want. And as always, keep making comics.